So this exercise is to remind a horse about his front end, or to teach him allow him to learn how to use his front end. We do 3 in a row without too much bend the first day. Today's the first day. Then we'll work up to 4 in a row, but constantly bending the whole time. So the outside will end up about 36 feet wide between, and the insides will end up 30 to 31. So where you place your horse in that line will make a difference. And once they get confident, you can push them up where they have to rock back and use their front end more.
So when we first start the exercise, we go mostly from the inside corner of the jump to the inside of the next jump, since that's the shortest distance and it's easiest for the horse to navigate. Once they start getting used to the exercise and comfortable with it, we start making it a little more challenging by doing outside to outside. If you have a horse that's one-leaded, prefers one lead more than the other, this is also a good way to kind of get them following you on the bend to land on the lead that you prefer, or just to make them a little more ambidextrous. And as Carleton said, you can adjust how much they bend. And if the lead is what you're working on along with the jumping style, you'd probably want to bend it a little bit more.
So we always jump it taller in a combination than the out. In this case, there's 3 in a row, so I have the first 2 up. You'll watch horses at a horse show. Most of the time, they will rub the jump going in the combination more than out, because people tend to override the combination going in and push them through the first jump. You have to remember, it's a jumping contest. You have to allow them to physically push up, we call it load up, rock back, implode it off the ground, and then I call it a little bit of an explosion across the jump. And then they have to land with a little bit of implosion, so they step down on the landing and step away.
And this is a good place to talk about why we use the barrels and the planks to that end.
We use the planks because they're a solid jump and they move in the cups if they do touch them. As you could possibly hear, when the sand hits the barrels, it makes a little noise. Has them think that they need to jump up, but also creates roundness, because as we do this exercise, we'll move the barrel slightly away from the jump to create more of an arc over the top of the jump.
Yes, and again, you can do this at any height. You can do it just with plain barrels, and the barrels are 2'6". So really any level can do this. Also, the barrels and the planks make the horses study the jumps a little bit, so they have a tendency to jump more up and around them and not just kind of canter through them. We see a lot more these days people using the plastic jump rails that are really light, or the lighter wood, and horses are smart enough to know that they can kind of push those out of the way, and that impacts their jumping style. So if they touch one of the plank, it does move a little bit in the cups, but it's not as forgiving as the plastic or lightweight jumps. They can just push out of the way. So this exercise helps promote the horses' not only jumping style, but them studying the jumps and giving the jumps some respect.
Okay, Lexi, let's try our left lead. Now, we've been doing this horse just through the center to center because we want him to get comfortable. And then tomorrow we will do the inside to inside a little more with him.
Also, this direction is going a little uphill, which creates a little more challenge with the balance.
The grade of your arena makes a huge difference. The grade of your arena makes a huge difference. You have to make sure you keep your horse between both legs.
We discussed making a little chute. A chute between your legs and a chute between your reins. So you're always sending the tail right up through the middle of both reins. And it's not just to the jump, but it's away from the jump as well.
If your horse makes a little error in this exercise, it will tell you what your horse's influence will do when they get in a little bit of difficulty at a horse show.
This horse is brave, so he didn't mind that.
All right, now we're gonna make this a little more challenging. We'd like to be a little more on the inside to the middle. We're gonna ask this horse to come across the last two at a slight angle. It's a little wider and longer on the last two, but also to keep him sharp with his front end as he jumps. It's the same as combining two exercises. Now he's angling some jumps slightly. Should head toward me a little bit out of the line. It's also making the combination short to long. Very good. Very good. Yep. Very good. Now we'll see if he improves off that. And as we jump this last one, we're going to demonstrate rolling the barrels out a foot or two and see how he has to keep his hind end up. So even though it's a simpler jump in the fact that it's lower, he's going to have to keep his front end up. He cannot get complacent with the jump. So I've rolled those barrels out a foot to a foot and a half. Same exercise. And you almost have to ride the last vertical like an oxer. So if your horse is weak in its front end, you'll see it start to drop down over the back set of barrels. There we go. So the horse kept his arc up very nicely and kept his shoulder up well over the last jump. Really good. So now she'll trot him around for about 10 minutes, a little bit on a loose rein, and then maybe a couple balancing exercises. And then she'll let him stretch out and take a deep breath.
And you don't have to repeat the exercise very many times.
No, we probably jumped it 8 times today.
Yeah, at the most. And it's like once they get it right and once they show you good effort, it's probably good to leave it. Mm-hmm.
Very good. And we always jog them afterwards, make sure they're not sore. Horses can land on a pebble or anything. We always try to check our horse's health constantly. We live on a hill here in Malibu, and we watch them walk up and down the hill all the time. It tells you if they really have good balance or not, or if they're tender.
Also, once their muscles are loose from jumping, it's nice to let them stretch and not just stop. Keep them warm and let them slowly cool down.